The ball is on the 25, and it is 1st and 10. Welcome back to the show. Today, we just sunset the 2025 NFL Draft, so it's only right we go back and grade the 2024 NFL Draft after 1 year. Metro, are you ready to go today?
100%. Like you said, we're going to be grading every single pick of round 1 of the 2024 Draft. We're going to begin with 32 and work our way down to number 1. Got to keep you guys here, so make sure you click on and stay on. Let's hop into it.
All right, out the gates, pick 32 on the day. The Carolina Panthers, they traded up, correct? And they snagged Xavier Legette. We all love him, a great personality. But here we have to give grades. And preface before we start this, Metro, I think you mentioned this too. This has been 1 year. I think it's asinine that we give out grades after 1 year, but it's fun, so we do it. These guys still have years to develop, and most of them have about 4 years on their rookie contract with the extra deal on their 5th year. With that being said, take these grades with a grain of salt. Let's get it started. I'll start to begin with, and we'll go back and forth. My grade for Legette was a personal C-. I thought he showed flashes of being good in year 1, but he just has to develop. Now, I'm not going to knock the guy because he hasn't been BTJ. I don't mean to spoil anything. He hasn't been Brian Thomas Jr. in year 1 and just burst out on the scene, but it just wasn't what you wanted in a first-round wide receiver in year 1. What do you think, Metro?
Yeah, I also gave him a C. For me, I look at round 2, and there was a lot of really talented players that they passed up on to get Xavier Legette. For me, Legette was somebody who I felt was league ready. So for him only to have less than 500 yards in his rookie year was a bit of a bummer, especially when you look down the board in round 2. Ladd McConkey, Devondre Sweat, Braden Fisk, Cooper DeJean, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Kamari Lassiter. By the way, 40, 41, 42, 3 straight cornerbacks, and every single one of them is an absolute dog. Not to mention Max Melton's also a really good player too. So a lot of talent was still on the board, and they passed up on it for Xavier Legette. I don't know if they'll regret this one, but given the fact they just drafted Ted McMillan, maybe they're already in some ways kind of regretting it. This also was a trade up, so they had to give up a draft pick. So in the grand scheme of things, it could end up working out. But for now, I'm going to give it a C. Hopefully it works out and he can be that opposite receiver to Ted McMillan, because that would be 2 very long, rangy receivers that can make a lot of plays. So it's a C for me, C- for you. Do you want to move on to Ricky Pearsall?
Let's do it. At 31, we have the 49ers getting Ricky Pearsall. This was also a trade-up, or am I remember that wrong?
I think they didn't trade up. They stuck a pick.
That's right, because they were picking. You're correct. So they get Ricky Pearsall, pick 32, the wide receiver. And Metro, I graded first, so you go first this time.
Yeah, I give this one a D+. Basically, the same thing I said about Legette also applies to Ricky Pearsall, except I thought Pearsall at 31 was very rich. I had a day 2 grade on him. I was very pumped about him. I liked him as a prospect. I said, you know what? This could be a steal in day 2. He ended up going way earlier than expected, and I was like, ugh. With that said, he's going to get a lot more opportunities this year now that Deebo Samuel's out the door. So I expect this D+ to definitely get better, and as time does go on, this pick will look a lot better than it ended up looking in his rookie year. But didn't have much of an impact in 2024, and that was even with a bunch of injuries. So that's disappointing. Hopefully it works out. I do think, though, that a Ricky Pearsall and Brandon Ayuk duo could definitely work out. So for me, it's a D+, but I still think there's a lot of potential for this pick to end up working out in the long term.
Yeah, so Ricky Pearsall came out in his rookie year. The dude got shot. I'm so glad he's doing much better. Like, what a crazy-ass offseason leading up to his rookie year. And yes, he took a while to get going, as would I if I got shot. But by the end, Metro, I was all about it. And against the Detroit Lions on December 30th, he had 10 targets and 141 yards and a touchdown, breaking out onto the scene. And then in his final game, 8 targets, 6 receptions, and 69 yards, and a touchdown as well. So at the end of the year, I'm like, okay, this looks like a first-round wide receiver. But for the rest of it, I totally understand. I chose to be like, he got a couple bullets in him, so I'm going to give it a C+. I liked what I saw when he seemed fully healthy and ready to go, and I think that end-of-year result will reflect on how they use him in the future.
100%. Nate Wiggins?
Yeah, Nate Wiggins for the Baltimore Ravens at 30 overall. I gave this a B+. I thought he played fairly well in his rookie year, especially helping in the run defense. Coverage can use some work, of course, but personally, I'll explain how I graded. C is like More to be seen. I thought it was fine. B was an impact player. So if you made any kind of serious impact on your team, I gave you a B or anywhere in the B range. And then an A is like, okay, home run, slam dunk. This absolutely killed it. So I gave it a B plus personally.
Yeah, I gave it a B, so just slightly a little bit less than yours. Early on in the season, he took a little bit to kind of get going, but man, by the end of it, he was really good for this team. He's good in coverage. Like you mentioned, he's good against the run. It's kind of interesting. He's undersized, only about 6 foot, 180-something pounds, but he put on a little bit of some weight. He's a freak athlete. He can move well, and I thought he showed some glimpses of being a really good player for this Ravens defense and Ravens back end. So, yeah, I gave it a B. I think, though, looking at how the board fell in round 2 and with all of the great cornerbacks that went, I mean, DeJean, McKinstry, Lassiter, Melton, even a little bit down the board. Sainer still was also there. So there were some really good cornerback prospects that maybe you could have waited on in round 2, but man, Nate Wiggins, I don't think they're complaining about that pick. I think it ended up working out quite nicely for them. So yeah, I give it a B. You said, what, B plus for yours?
Yes, sir. Next, we have the Cowboys at 29. They get their man in Tyler Guyton, the O tackle out of Oklahoma. Metro, what did you think about this? Because you are a Cowboys fan. I see a Texas hat on. I see a Texas banner. What do you think?
Yeah, when the pick happened, I was scratching my head, to say the least. I did not get the pick. I thought it was a reach because, especially for the Cowboys, they needed a left tackle. He played right tackle at Oklahoma. We all kind of knew he'd be a bit of a project player because of his just general inexperience. And it showed. His rookie season was not great. 6 sacks allowed, 18 penalties. A lot of those were holds, which was, I think, the most penalties this season. 51.3 run block grade, 60.2 pass blocking grade. A lot of ups and downs. You definitely saw glimpses of somebody who can become a good tackle, but man, his rookie year left a lot to be desired. So I gave it a D+. I did not like the pick when it happened. I'm still relatively pessimistic about this one, but I can see it improving. Again, he's a project player. You got to give him time. He's at least getting a lot of playing time for Dallas and projects to be their long-term tackle play. So that's why I don't give it an F, but I don't know. Was not the biggest fan of this pick when it happened, and I don't think it's going to be the home run hit that Dallas can find sometimes with these offensive linemen.
Yeah, so like you said, Guyton, developmental. And I gave him a C-. I'm not going to bury the lead. I think he was meant to be developed, and we're in the process of that. So I'm not going to give him a firm F like you mentioned because he's got time to go, man. Like, this guy can still be something good. And let's see how it pans out, and time will tell on the pick at 29. Next, we have the Chiefs at 28, and they get Xavier Worthy, the speed demon out of Texas, Hoka Metro. I gave this grade a C personally. I thought Worthy had a very good season, very strong. I thought he had a very solid season as a rookie. Just was, I don't know, maybe it's more of a C+. I'm going to adjust right now on the fly. I think I had about a C+ season, not a B tier echelon where he's making a real difference on the team. I think you could have plugged another veteran wide receiver and had a similar result, but maybe I'm just being pessimistic here. I think there's more to come for Worthy, and it'll develop more in year 2 and year 3 as he develops as well. What did you think, Metro?
Yeah, it's also important to add the context they traded up for him as well, so they had to give up additional draft capital. I give this one a B-. I thought Xavier Worthy was kind of a very solid fit for this team, just somebody who can stretch the field vertically, can take a screen 50 yards, and he showed that last year. 59 receptions, just under 650 receiving yards, and 6 touchdowns. Ended up kind of becoming the, I guess, second option for Patrick Mahomes after Rashee Rice went down. So for this team moving forward, I don't know what his role is going to be because Rice comes back, and I could definitely see a world where, he kind of becomes that third option behind Kelsey and Rice and some of those other guys. Hollywood Brown also did not play last year. So in a year where Worthy was clearly their, I guess, number one receiver, he didn't really make the most of it, but I also feel like he made enough splash plays and showed me enough glimpses of what his role is going to be on this team for me to feel really good about it. Plus, just in general, culture fit, I think he's a good player. Seems like a good guy. I know there was some off-the-field stuff that happened this year, but it turned out to be nothing of his fault. So, yeah, this was a good pick. I don't know how much of an impact he'll have in terms of being like a Pro Bowler, so that's why I keep it in the Bs, but he'll be a solid player for them moving forward.
Awesome. On to 27, the Arizona Cardinals took Darius Robinson, the D lineman. Metro, what was your grade here for Darius Robinson?
Yeah, I gave this one a D. We just did not see him play. He only played 184 snaps last year. Did get a sack, but 6 solo tackles, 2 assisted tackles. Just really didn't get to see much from him. Right now, he projects to be a rotational edge rusher for them, but it could work out for them. This was a team that really needed edge rushing play. You look down the board, there were some really good players that they could have probably taken, but not a lot of great edge rushers in round 2. So this one could end up being a pick that ends up working out in the long haul. We'll have to wait and see. So yeah, I gave it a D. It's just unfortunate he really did not get much of an opportunity to showcase his talent in year 1.
Yeah, right there on par with you. I also gave it a D. I just want to see him develop and come into his own, and only time will tell here. And we don't want to give a guy an F when they haven't had a chance to prove themselves.
Yeah, he was always somebody who was going to be going to take some time, like kind of going to be a bit of developmental piece. He's 6'5", 296, can play off the edge, can play on the interior. So this team just kind of has to figure out what they're going to do with him. So, yeah, let's move on to Mr. GB, Graham Barton.
Graham Barton for the Bucks at 26 overall. The center out of Duke. Metro, I gave this a very solid B-. I think he contributed, had a pretty good year. Was he super impactful like a B+? Not in my eyes, but I thought he had a very good year for a rookie, so that deserves a B- in my eyes. What did you think for Barton?
Yeah, I think statistically speaking, he wasn't incredible or anything like that, but I did give this one a B+. For me, the way I look at it, you get an answer for a long-term starting player for them, whether it's guard or center. The versatility was there. I thought he showed a lot of glimpses of being somebody who can be just a foundational part of this offensive line. Need to clean up the penalties, 13 penalties last year. I think we had the highest amount of penalties for a center. Only gave up 1 sack, played just over 1,000 snaps, so he was their full-time starter. I think you feel pretty good that you have a foundational piece of your offensive line ready to go for the future. It's just you got to clean up the penalties. So there was a lot of up and downs with Graham Barton, but I feel pretty confident that this is going to be a guy who's going to be a part of this offensive line for years to come. And you get that guy at 26, I think you'll definitely take it.
Totally. Next, we have the Detroit Lions at 24. They trade up for Terrion Arnold.
Wait, you passed on Jordan Morgan.
Oh, I'm blind. Well, it's the Packers. I don't care about them. On to the next. No, all jokes. Packers fans don't hate me. The Green Bay Packers at 25 take Jordan Morgan, the tackle. And I gave this grade a C, personally. I thought he was solid. Didn't mean to jump you, Metro. I just had it right here. I thought he was solid. I just didn't see a serious impact on this team. What did you think about this?
Yeah, another one of these guys with very limited productivity because of injuries. Only played 186 snaps. No sacks allowed. Only 1 penalty. Graded out fine on PFF. I give it a D simply because I don't really know what his future is on this team. You look at the depth chart for the Packers and all the moves they've made in the offseason of just kind of shoring up this offensive line. And right now, he's not projected to start on ESPN. Right now, he looks to be in competition for that backup or maybe even starting tackle spot opposite of Zach Tom. And there's a lot of competition there. Rasheed Walker still has the spot right now. You drafted Anthony Belton. And then Jordan Morgan's there. He can play guard, but I don't know if they're going to start him there over Banks or Jenkins or Ryan. We'll see if he can find kind of a spot on this team. I definitely think they should because they spent a first-round pick on him. But I give it a D. I think he's one of my lower-graded guys just simply because right now he's technically not even projected to be a starter. So that's not good from a first-round pick.
It's a great call out. Where does he fall into place? That's huge. You can't just spend that kind of draft capital and just have them not contribute on your team.
Yep.
Here we have the Detroit Lions at 24 overall. My team, and this one's going to be a struggle to talk about because there's a lot of different opinions on this guy. Terrion Arnold is the pick on the stage in Detroit City during the draft. Metro, what did you have on Terrion Arnold? And just give it to me straight. Be honest here.
Yeah, I give it a B-. I felt like he was pretty inconsistent. And the way I viewed it was I always was a little bit lower on Arnold than the consensus everyone else was. Like, people had him in their top 15. I had him outside my top 15. I thought he was a good player, just not worthy of the top 15 picks. So when he went to 24, this is about the range where I start to feel pretty good about him. The way I see it, I didn't think he was going to have a great first year. I always kind of thought he'd be somebody who maybe needed a year of experience, 2-3 years down the line, was really going to get things going. And I think that's what you're going to get from Terrion Arnold. Last year was just very inconsistent, a lot of penalties, was just average in coverage at times. And it was unfortunate because the team around him kind of collapsed towards the back end in terms of just injuries. So Arnold was asked to make a lot more plays and was asked to kind of play a bigger role. And I thought at times he played up to that, but I also thought at times he, I don't know, just wasn't that great. So inconsistent year. I thought down the stretch he was improving. I just want to see more consistency moving forward. And the nice thing is he's now going to be sort of in that CB2 role next to DJ Reed. So it's a good spot for him. I gave him a B minus. Also, seems like a good guy, good culture fit. So it's hard to be mad about it.
Yes, sir. I gave him a C plus, similar to you. You gave a B minus though, correct?
Yeah.
So right on the edge. And it was pretty much what you said. Terrion is playing the hardest position in football. And in the back half of the year, when there's a lot of injuries and they stacked up, he was having to take on the most athletic wide receiver and typically the wide receiver one. So it was a tall task for him as a rookie, and I was impressed to see it. I had to give him a C plus just because I think there's good things to come. He was not always, but he was most time in the right place and just not quite making the play or getting a penalty. I think he'll develop into something really nice.
Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah,
I feel like this one's pretty easy.
20 feet, 23 to Jacksonville Jaguars get BTJ, Brian Thomas Jr., the wide receiver. Metro, is this our first day?
Yes, I gave it A plus.
Ooh, I gave him an A. I love the pick, man. You talk about year one impact for an offense. Probably not saving, but like really helping T-Law's development. And that sounds crazy to say because we are in the back half of his rookie contract now. Yeah, BTJ was exceptional. Nothing else to say. You got anything to say about him?
Yeah, just a really good pickup. I think they also traded back in the draft too, so I think they got additional capital. Don't quote me on that, but I think they did. But yeah, you get Brian Thomas Jr., 1,200 passing yard or receiving yards his rookie year, 87 receptions, 10 touchdowns. You look at this team now in Jacksonville, you pair him up with Travis Hunter. I mean, man, that's just a lot of talent in that receiving core. And just two dudes who are just take anything downfield, make a lot of big splashy plays. So to get him in the 20s was great value. And I mean, I got to be honest with you, I did not see this from Brian Thomas Jr. I thought he'd be a good player, but 1,200 yards his rookie season. And to me, pretty clearly, it looked like the second or maybe even the best receiver of this year's draft class. So I give it an A plus. I mean, you spend a pick in the 20s to get what I think is going to be a generational starter for this roster and just a really solid talent. So good pickup for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
That's right. And if my memory serves me right, I think they were at 17, and then the Vikings came up for Turner. So they went back 6 spots. Someone traded up, and I believe it was the Vikings.
You're right. I believe you're right. I can't confirm that, but I believe you are right.
So huge W right there. Any kind of trade back at landing BTJ is an absolute win, especially at 23. Let's pivot to the Eagles, who just every year get awesome defensive talent, and it just falls into their lap. They get the Toledo cornerback in Quinyon Mitchell. Had an exceptional season. Don't mean to spoil anything, but I gave it a B plus personally. I thought he made a serious impact in their first year, playing a very big role in their defense and bringing them to a Super Bowl. No big deal. What did you think, Metro?
Yeah, I gave this one an A. I heavily considered an A plus this one as well. Man, he was just so solid last year. Like, he never looked like the moment was too bright for him. Even in the Super Bowl, never looked like the moment was too bright. Played so well next to Darius Slay and Cooper DeJean and really made the secondary for Philadelphia look elite. 72.4 overall grade, 73.3 coverage grade. Did not get an interception, which is something that I want to see moving forward. That's the only thing that kept me from an A+, but I mean, he was in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year, kind of like Brian Thomas Jr. You got him at pick 22. He is now your cornerback 1. I mean, I don't see how this is not a big-time home run hit for the Philadelphia Eagles, who, by the way, yet again, get another steal of the draft. Quinyon Mitchell falls right into their lap. This year, Jahad Campbell. Just saying, guys, we gotta stop sleeping on these players and letting them fall right to Philadelphia, man. No, we gotta stop doing this.
Every single year, brother, it happens.
What happened in the second round of this class too with Cooper DeJean?
Yep, man. Pick 6 in the Super Bowl. This team.
Oh, yeah.
Howie, you're the best to ever do it. Just retire while you're on top. I mean, it's never going to change. You're a damn good GM. You ready to go to the Dolphins?
Yeah, another good pick here. Do you want to go or do you want me to go?
I'll just say the name. Chop Robinson for the Dolphins at 21. Metro, what was your grade here? Because he had a pretty solid year.
Yeah, he didn't get the most playing time. Compare that to other players. But I also gave this one an A. I view this one as, man, this dude can get to the quarterback. You draft somebody in the 20s, you draft an edge, you need to get after the quarterback, and he did so. Now you could say, well, Maybe they needed offensive line a little bit more, sure. But, man, you get a guy in Chop Robinson who's clearly going to be one of their superstars on the defensive side of things. He just reminds me of, I don't want to say Von Miller, but like Von Miller-like, who can just get to the quarterback at such an elite level. 7 sacks in his rookie season, and he only did that on 565 total snaps. So this dude was out there to get to the quarterback, and he made the most of his opportunities. So, yeah, I mean, was fantastic. I want to see him play in a big-time role next year for Miami, I meant. So, yeah, giving it an A.
Yeah, man. Chop Robinson came out and did his thing, and he was initially viewed, and I might be remembering this wrong, as like a developmental guy just because he was such a freak athlete. And then you come out and have 6 sacks in your first year on limited snaps. That's how you do it, folks. I gave this a B+ personally, so right next to Metro's grade. Talk about instant value in the 20s of the first-round draft. Good stuff right there, and there's definitely more to come for Chop Robinson.
Yeah, 3 straight really good picks, Chop, Quinion, and Brian Thomas Jr. And if Terran Arnold can work out, that's 4 really good picks in a row.
Disgusting right there. Next we have the Steelers at 20, and they get Fatanu, the offensive guard. And Metro, I let you go last time, so I'll just rip the Band-Aid. He was hurt. I gave him a D just because I want to see what it turns into. Based on his PFF stats, it looked pretty decent, but those were limited snaps, so I don't know how to judge that. What'd you think?
Yeah, I also gave it a D. 55 snaps, and when he was out there, he made the most of them, I suppose. But, 55 is just not a lot you can go off of right there.
Yeah.
It's hard to really project whether or not he's going to be their long-term starter, but you would assume that because they spent a top 20 pick on him, that he is going to be in line to start for them next year, but just never know. Yeah, I give this one a D. I think it'll work out. It's just that we haven't seen anything quite yet. So until we see it on the field, until we see it for longer snaps in the preseason. Also, I didn't think he looked that great in the preseason when he was out there. So, but yeah, I gave it a D. I do think, though, that this is one of those similar to Ricky Pearsall and basically every single player where as time goes on, we're going to be looking back at this pick and saying, you know what, it was a pretty good pick. It was better than a D. So for now, we'll give it a D, but it's definitely one of those that can go up.
That's right. We head to the West Coast. Pick 19, we have the Los Angeles Rams. And I hope you know who this pick is. It's going to be Jared Verse, the edge rusher out of Florida State. Metro, can we agree on this one? Did we give a good grade here?
Yeah. What, didn't he win Defensive Rookie of the Year?
I mean, I've heard he's kind of ass personally, so I gave this a D. No, man, it's an A+. This is the best pick of the draft, in my opinion. Yeah, what a steal at 19 overall. I remember seeing the clip of the Colts being like, we got the best edge rusher of the draft. Latu did pretty good, but you didn't get Jared Verse. So Jared Verse, awesome value. Rams, this is how to do it. This is how you stay competent and be an awesome franchise picking late in the draft.
Yep, I gave this one an A+ as well. 77 pressures in 2024, ranked 4th amongst all edges. Basically played every single snap possible, 833 snaps, 6 sacks, but that's definitely going to increase because, he put 77 pressures on the field. He was constantly around the quarterback, so that'll improve. 41 solo tackles, 2 forced fumbles. PFF grades are just really solid, 86.2, 83.7 pass rush, 78.4 run defense. So he's good against the run. He's excellent against the pass. And like you mentioned, you get this guy with the 19th pick, and you didn't have to trade for him. You just sat there and took the guy. It's a good pickup, and he was one of those guys that I felt very comfortable taking in the top 10. I was very high on Jared Verse, and I guess it kind of worked out for the LA Rams because they get an absolute superstar who's just an absolute wrecking ball on the defensive line. So you replace Aaron Donald with Jared Verse, not too shabby.
It's a good trade-off right there, only for 1 first-round pick. Metro, I just want to bring this up. Coaches talk about guys who are problems. There's a video I'm sure you've seen about Malik Neighbors and Brock Bowers also in this draft. And Saban goes, those guys were problems. And he didn't say stats. He didn't say good or bad. He just said problems. Jared Verse is a coach's definition of problem. And if you get a real problem at 19 overall, that is a win of the draft.
Yep. Great pickup for the LA Rams. It already adds to a team that was already pretty solid coming into that draft, and then you add him on top of it, and he's going to be a part of what looks to be a championship contender in 2025.
Yeah, so let's turn the page. Let's go back to the East Coast. The Bengals pick Amarius Mims, the tackle out of Georgia at 18 overall. And Metro, I gave this grade a C-. I just didn't think he performed super well, but also more to be seen like a lot of these guys. How did you grade out Mr. Mims?
Yeah, I was a little bit higher on Mims. I gave him a B in his rookie season. PFF, 57.8 overall grade, 60.8 pass block, 52.6 run blocking grade. Not the greatest again in terms of run blocking, but the way I kind of see it was he was a developmental piece coming out of Georgia. We all kind of knew this, and I thought in his rookie season he showed enough flashes to feel really confident about him moving forward. And he also had a couple games where he was just super dominant. So you put him at right tackle, he looks to be your long-term answer at tackle. I gave it a B with the possibility of definitely moving up if he continues to develop. So I like the pick here.
Good stuff for Mims. At 17, we have the Vikings, who traded up, which we believe from 23. That could be wrong. Don't quote us. But point is, they traded up to get Dallas Turner at 17, the edge rusher. Metro, what was your grade here for Dallas Turner?
Yeah, Dallas Turner, he kind of had a slow start to the season. He didn't play a ton, only 300 snaps on the year. Did get 3 sacks, though, and it felt like as time did go on, they felt a bit more confident in him. With that said, I think they traded up to get him, so it didn't really pan out in his rookie year, but I think there's definitely a chance it works out in the future. So for this one, I gave it a C-. Again, you give up draft capital to move up to get Dallas Turner. Didn't really work out in his rookie year, but you're hoping that it will take the step forward in year 2. So I'm leaving the possibility of this one really working out in the future and just saying right now I'm going to keep it at a C-.
Yeah, Turner is a real special talent. Time will tell on this one, like most of these guys. And rookie production just wasn't there for me, so I gave it a C. Let's see what happens in the coming years. This is a really good roster, and he could play out a really good role on the Vikings.
Yep, for sure.
At Seahawks, we have this. At Seahawks, at 16, we have the Seattle Seahawks. Rhymes kind of right there. Same beginning. And we have Mr. Murphy, the D tackle out of Texas, Byron Murphy the second. My grade for Byron Murphy personally was a C or a C. I'm gonna go C+ here. I thought he had an okay beginning to his season, to his rookie year, but just not the full impact I wanted out of a D tackle, and that's just kind of where I landed.
Yeah, I also gave it a C. Only played 457 snaps, dealt with injuries his rookie year. At times, he really flashed and really looked like he's going to be a problem on this team. So I think there's a bright future for him. 21 pressures last year, a sack, 13 assisted tackles, 21 solo tackles, was solid against the run. So I think there's a really good possibility he seriously does develop to become a really good threat for this team. It's just right now we didn't see too much in his rookie year because of injuries and just kind of some inconsistencies. So I gave it a C, but I think this pick will end up working out quite nicely for them.
Awesome. Next we have the Indianapolis Colts at 15, and they get their guy in Latu, the edge rusher. And I give this grade personally a B. I thought he did solid. He didn't go crazy like Jared Verse. He did pick up 4 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, and 1 fumble recovery, along with 32 tackles. So good rookie year. That's what you expect, not a Jared Verse kind of rookie year. That's very rare. So I gave it a solid B. I thought he made impact, and he has time to develop.
Yep, I also gave it a B. 71.5 overall grade, 72.1 pass rush grade, 38 pressures last year. Only got 4 sacks, but I thought he showed enough flashes on the field to feel really solid about his fit with the Colts long term. It's just going to be one of those things where he needs time to develop. He's still not a finished product, but I thought there was a lot of good moments from him last year, and it felt like this was a team that was going to be relying on him in the future. So I gave it a B. You get a guy at 15. I think he was the first defensive player to come off the board. And while he wasn't the best defensive player in his rookie year, obviously that was probably Jared Verse and maybe Quinion Mitchell, but I thought he made a case to be for sure worthy of the 15th overall pick in his rookie year. So I like the pick. I think it'll prove to be a worthy addition for this team moving forward.
Let's head down to the Bayou, pick 14. And as you mentioned, this was 14 offensive picks in a row. I think that was the record, correct, last year in the 2024 draft?
Yep, sounds about right. I'm not too sure if it's true or not, but I'll shake my head and nod.
I'll believe it. Whatever you say, I'll nod my head, Metro. Tyrese Fuaga, the right tackle for the Saints, goes off the board at 14. Personally, he has to develop a little bit more, but I thought he had a really, really good rookie year, and I'm just biased. I love when right tackles hit, man. They're physical, especially Fuaga. He is strong as shit. I gave it an A-. I like the pick. I think it locks at that right side for a while, and he will only get better as time goes on.
Yeah, I gave this a B+. I look at Fuaga and I say, man, he can play both sides, whether it's a left tackle or right tackle, wherever you really want him to play at. But last year, 65.7 overall grade, 62.2 pass blocking grade, 69.5 run blocking grade. Did have 10 penalties and 6 sacks allowed, but this was somebody who we all kind of viewed as maybe being a little bit developmental, somebody who needed some time to develop. And I think we saw good moments and bad moments. There was definitely some better games than other ones, but for the most part, you feel really good that you have at least one of your tackle spots filled up for the future with Fuanga, and then obviously Kelvin Banks, whether play right tackle or left tackle, depending on what they want to do with Fuanga, if they want to move him to right or keep him at left, figure out what you're going to do with Kelvin Banks. But yeah, in totality, solid pickup. He fell right into your laps. He was the third tackle coming off the board, or sorry, fourth tackle that came off the board. And I thought he played better than maybe some of the other tackles taken in front of him. So good pickup there for the Saints.
Yes, sir. 13, we're heading to Sin City. The Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders, take Brock Bowers. He's all right. You might have heard of him. Out of Georgia, the tight end. Metro, this was A+ for me. Phenomenal pick. Tight ends, historically, until recently, don't break out in their rookie year. They usually take like 3 years to really develop. Not Brock Bowers. On the Sam Laporta route, and even better. Did his thing in his rookie year. Smash pick here for me, A+. What did you think?
Yep. I also give it an A+. This was just a really solid pick. I mean, man, he led the league in receiving yards for tight ends, like in his rookie year. That's unheard of. 112 receptions. He was first amongst all tight end in targets, receptions, and yards. 5 touchdowns. Like, he's just that guy. And he's going to be, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, he might already be the best tight end in the NFL after his rookie year. So if it wasn't for Jaden Daniels, he would have been Offensive Rookie of the Year. But, I mean, we all know what Jaden Daniels did last year. But, man, just a great pickup for the Raiders. And this is just another case study of teams undervaluing a certain position and losing out on a generational talent. They do it every year with safeties. They sometimes do it with tight ends, and it happened with Brock Bowers. There was, let's be honest, zero reason why he should have fell to 13. Zero reason.
Are you saying Tyler Warren's going to be the best pick of the draft this year?
No, I was not high on Tyler Warren. Not as high, I should say. But Brock Bowers, I was like, dude, this dude's going to be a superstar. Like, why are we overthinking this? This guy should be a top 5 pick. And top 10. But he went 13th. And now, Tyler Warren, he's going to be a good player. And he's in a great situation in Indianapolis. That's going to force feed him the football a lot. But he ain't no Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers, man, if you're a Raiders fan, you got like Rob Gronkowski and Travis Kelce put into one guy, and that's hard to find. So congrats. You got a superstar.
Different cat, man. He's practically a wide receiver. He moves like one. It's weird to watch. Great picks right there, Raiders fans. Now, this one's interesting. I'm looking forward to hearing your grade. 12, we have the Denver Broncos getting Bo Nix. A ton of quarterbacks go off the board. And the Broncos, if I'm remembering correctly, they just sit here and take their guy at 12 and Bo Nix. What was your grade for Bo Nix, Metro?
Well, when it happened in real time, I thought it was a great fit, but I did not view Nix as a first-round talent. Now, in hindsight, I give this one an A. I mean, you get a quarterback at pick 12, who has 3,700 passing yards, 29 touchdowns, only 12 picks, leads the Broncos team back into the playoffs. Clearly looks to be your long-term answer at quarterback, which has been an issue for Denver since, Peyton Manning, let's be honest. So, yeah, you got to give this one an A, in my opinion. Just this is a situation where Denver didn't overthink it. A lot of people were not high on Bo Nix, myself, I guess, in this scenario, kind of included. And they saw a vision with him. They saw his fit within the scheme. They did not overthink it, and they just took the guy. And, it looks like it's going to work out long-term for him because he's a good player, and he looked really good last year in his rookie season. He also showed a lot of poise, which is not something you see from rookie quarterbacks, especially in their rookie season. So, great stuff from Bo Nix. I gave it an A.
Well said, brother. Call me a hater. I did give this a B just because I want to see the sophomore year played out. I'm not gonna don't overstep this, okay? Receiving guys like Mac Jones kind of have pretty good rookie seasons, and then they get some tape on him and they take a step back. Your analysis is absolutely correct. I'm just hesitant. I want to see his game translate into year 2 and year 3. When that happens, A+. Getting a quarterback like that at 12 overall and just sitting on your hands, win of a draft pick right there on a rookie contract.
Yeah, there's always quarterback questions in their sophomore season just because sophomore slumps are a real thing. Like when defensive coordinators figure out your weaknesses, figure out your tendencies, whenever they go up against you, they're got to have a full-on game plan to exploit any issue you might have. So it's kind of why you see quarterbacks have these incredible rookie seasons, and then in their second year, they look a little bit worse. And Sometimes it's on the quarterback, but a lot of the time it's also on the coach to change up the game plan and coach them up on their weaknesses to get better at them. So I think it's going to come down to Bo Nix and Sean Payton to avoid a potential sophomore slump. And I think if there was a duo that I would trust to not have that issue, it would be Bo Nix and Sean Payton, who Sean Payton's been in the league for a while. Bo Nix is an older guy. I mean, he's 25, 26?
Yeah.
25. Yeah, he's 25 years old, so he's a mature quarterback. He's not a 19-year-old out there having to adjust on the fly. He's 25 years old. He should be ready for it.
Well said, brother. And one thing you just said I really want to talk about again. These D coordinators, man, everyone gets like a break in June in the NFL, right? These sicko D coordinators, they don't stop. They're on the beach in Cabo with their clicker, and they're watching Bo Nix tape and Jaden Daniels tape. So, yes, that's why the slump happens, because these guys they now have an offseason to plan, and they'll be ready to go when it comes to play them.
Yep, and they're going to have a game plan ready for Bo Nix and Sean Payton. It's going to come down to, can they recognize what the changes are, man? Can they make the adjustments? So, and that's not just the case for Bo Nix. It's the case for every single player, honestly, on this list. So, yeah.
Yes, sir, at 11. But before we do that pick, I want to mention, guys, I hope you enjoy the content we have on this channel for our collab channel, but also we make our own content. Metro at Metro Sports makes awesome NFL analysis content. Go check it out in the description below. Go subscribe. And then if you want something a different speed, like an NFL draft kind of content, that's what I make at Cade Rathbone. Also in the description below, go subscribe. Thank you guys very much. And then also, if you're enjoying the video, drop a like. It helps us out a bunch and helps the algorithm. Appreciate you guys. Let's go to pick number 11. Olu, our man. The Jets pick the O-tackle, Olu Fashanu, out of Penn State at 11. And this one has mixed reviews for me, but I don't want to skew your bias, Metro. What'd you give for Olu here?
Yeah, I thought in limited playing time, in the limited opportunities he showcased, that there was some good stuff put on film, but there was also some stuff that you don't want to see. So I give it an A- because I feel pretty confident that they have a long-term answer at tackle. You pair that up with who they took in this year's draft and Armand Membu. Feel really good about that duo. But again, only played 500 snaps, had 7 penalties, and only gave up 1 sack. So I saw a lot of good things that I like to see, but I also saw a lot of things that I don't want to see. So it's just one of those things where you have to take the good and the bad. But, man, I thought he showed some versatility to play both tackle spots, and I think he's going to show that versatility moving forward. So it's a good pickup. I feel pretty confident that he's going to be your long-term tackle of the future, and that's what you spend a top 12 pick on. So I think it worked out for them.
Yes, sir. I was a little bit more negative, but still a B- is an awesome grade. Like you said, you saw awesome flashes of impact. Limited snaps, a decent amount of snaps with like 500, you say, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so decent amount. Not like we're having 40 snaps out here, but he showed some flashes, and good and bad. Let's see what happens in the future. But like you said, if you land a left tackle, that would be huge for the franchise. And then now you're going to have a left and a right tackle. That is the beginning of a real awesome team. B- right here for me, and also an A- for you, Metro.
Yep.
Very nice. Let's go to the Minnesota Vikings, who I think they swapped spots with the Jets. Is that correct? Am I remembering that? Or they trade up for 12?
I think you're right, but it doesn't matter. The Vikings took J.J. McCarthy.
Yes, the Vikings took J.J. McCarthy, and I'll go first this time. He hasn't played. JJ hasn't played, so I'm just going to give it a C. I have no reason to be like, oh, he's going to be bad, he's going to be good. I'm not going to look at the preseason tape and be like, oh, he's going to be the next Tom Brady, or I'm also not going to look at it and be like, this dude's going to be ass. Let's just see how it goes. And also, this will be his rookie year in my eyes, because he was also hurt last year, which really helps, or not helps, but hurts you when you're trying to develop. So let's see what happens. I'm going to bite my tongue and see what happens here. What did you think, Metro?
Yeah, I gave it a B. I know he didn't play his rookie season. Only reason why I gave it a B is you get ahead of the Sam Darnold issue. You kind of had a feeling that Darnold potentially would leave this offseason, so you end up losing him. You save a lot of money with J.J. McCarthy, so you can really build a nice team around him. In the very limited time we saw him in that preseason game, he looked pretty good. So
he did.
For me, I took a little bit of that preseason game into account. I also just took into the fact that, rookie deal, you can build a really awesome roster around him. But it's in terms of the player himself, I do believe that J.J. McCarthy will end up being a good pick for them. So I gave it a B. You can talk me into a C. You can also talk me into an A. So I'm kind of a fluid mover in this sense.
Heck yeah, man. Next team on our list, Rome Odunze and the Bears at number 9 overall, the wide receiver. Metro, what are our thoughts on Rome Odunze?
Yeah, I give this one a C+. I thought he had a fine rookie season. For me, I was always in the camp of skipping on a receiver in favor of going with an offensive lineman, which we kind of saw end up being the Achilles heel of this team last year. Not to mention, I also would have been in favor of Brock Bowers, and some of the defensive linemen like a Jared Verse was also in play for me, but they passed on him to go with Rome Odunze, and obviously he's probably going to step into that wide receiver 2 role. Had 700 yards in his rookie year, only 3 touchdowns, and there's clearly some chemistry there with Caleb Williams, so I think it was an okay pick. That's why I give it a C+. For me, I just would have preferred something along the line of scrimmage, whether it was off the edge or on the offensive line. So that's why I gave it a C+.
That's where I landed too. I also gave this, I didn't give it a C+, but I gave it a C. Rome, man, like 700 yards is pretty good for a rookie, especially back like 10 years ago. That's a solid season and 3 touchdowns as well. But you see this team with so many weapons now, and it kind of confuses me. You could have had Olu Fashanu as your left tackle, right? And yes, he still has to confirm what we saw on the field, but I'm feeling way better about 2 awesome tackles with Darnell Wright on the right side than I am with just an additional weapon. Because that's what Rome, by the way, I love Rome. I think as a prospect, he's an exceptional receiver. I mean, would have been the best receiver in this class in 2025. With that said, 2 tackles is hard to beat and better for your quarterback in the long run. Let's see how it plays out. I'm very curious to see how Ben Johnson uses him in the future. If they don't utilize him well in their sophomore season, this is going to start going downhill real quick. Metro, anything else you want to say on Rome?
No, I think it's it'll be interesting to see how it works out. Again, I think I would have preferred something else there, but clearly they wanted to go a little bit more splashier. Have a combination of Caleb and Rome Odunze, and then now Colston leveling with their burden. So we'll see if it works out, though. I mean, they're kind of taking a bit of a gamble on some of their linemen. So we'll see if it works out. I give it a C+, and I feel pretty good about that.
Sweet. Next we have Atlanta at number 8. The Atlanta Falcons take, how can you forget, Michael Penix Jr. at number 8 overall. The pick, like this year, it was the Jags trading up to 2 and getting Travis Hunter. Last year, it was Penix going off the board at 8 and just earthquakes. I was in Pluckers for this, Metro, and some dude on Twitter announced the pick ahead of it going live on the TV, and I almost knocked him out with my beer bottle. I was pissed, dude. This kind of pick was wild on draft night. Now, with that being said, let's be realistic. I was just telling a story there. Penix showed some flashes. He's got a rocket arm. He was pretty good at Washington. Can't blame him. Some people had like second-round grades on him. Some people had first-round grades on him. Very mixed bag. He played like 2 games last season. Showed flashes of being good and bad. We'll know more coming into this next year. At the time, it was a very strange pick, but in hindsight, could be really smart, similar to the J.J. McCarthy pick. I'm going to be boring here and just give it a C. I need to see another year before I give this a real grade.
Yeah, I gave this one a B. It's kind of funny when we look back at how we analyzed the pick like a year ago when they signed Kirk Cousins. I guess a lot of people said F, but a lot of people were saying like Penix is going to be on the bench for 4 years and Kirk was going to be the guy. And, lo and behold, he's now the starter in year 2. So, and Kirk Cousins is the backup. So I guess it kind of ended up working out for Atlanta, but at the same time, I thought it was just malpractice of signing a guy for $40 million a year in Kirk Cousins, then instantly drafting his future replacement in Michael Penix Jr. Just thought that whole thing was bizarre, and I think it still impacts this Falcons team like to this day in terms of what this team can do. So that was weird, but in terms of the actual player, I thought you saw some good flashes from him. Clearly, this team could put up a lot of points with him when he was out there. 34 against the Giants, 24 against the Commanders, and 38 versus Carolina. So they were putting up numbers. They had some close competitive games. And, Penix wasn't fantastic, but I thought at times he was making some really nice throws, was keeping the team in the game. And just in general, I was pretty impressed with what I saw from him in the short amount of time we got to see him play. So obviously I can't give him an A because he only played 3 games. But from what I saw and from what I know about him, just seeing the player coming out of Washington, I think he's going to be a good player. And, I'm going to give it a B.
Sweet. Next up, we have the Tennessee Titans at number 7, and they grab the tackle in J.C. Latham out of Alabama. Now, Metro, what was your grade here? What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I give this one a C+. I can't talk about an up and down season for him. Just very inconsistent. Some really good snaps, some really bad snaps. But the good news is he played a lot of snaps, over 1,000 snaps, only 10 penalties, 7 sacks allowed. So I don't know. It was a very inconsistent year from him. That's why I gave it a C+. But you do look towards the future and see him being a long-term answer on the offensive line. Hopefully he can take the nice steps. I also think they're going to move him back. I want to say the right tackle. Don't quote me on that, but I think they're moving him out to his more natural position, which will hopefully make him a better player in year 2. But yeah, I give it a C+. I think there's some potential for this pick to be a really awesome pick.
Yeah, right along those lines, I also gave it a C+. Just saw flashes, not the complete deal, but he will develop over time. And very important, Metro, as we mentioned, this is the cruel thing. When it comes to injuries, you can't control them. Yes, guys are more injury-prone than others, but you really can't control them. You're just playing ball out there. Availability is an ability, and when you're able to play 1,000 snaps and you want to develop, that's the right way to do it. He should take a good step in year 2, but for today, it is a C+.
Yep. Malik Neighbors?
Malik Neighbors. The Giants snagged Malik Neighbors at number 6. The offseason HBO series of Hard Knocks was on the Giants, and super fun. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. I think our show is better personally. No, I'm just kidding. That shit was awesome. You got to go check that stuff out. But they break it down, the whole draft board, and their guy, Malik Neighbors, fell to them. Metro, this is an A+, and if you think it's not, then we're going to have to fight.
Yeah, A+. You get a wide receiver 1, generational talent. This guy's going to be up there with the Chases, the Jeffersons, the Lambs, the A.J. Browns of the world. Yeah, you get him at pick 6? Nice pickup for them. I mean, we all were asking for quarterback. They pass on quarterback to get a generational receiver. Could cost them their job, funnily enough.
Isn't that crazy about the NFL? You make the right pick, and it still might bite you in the ass.
Yep. Well, I mean, when your quarterback was Daniel Jones heading into the season, kind of put yourself in that situation. But, you know, they could have taken Penix or JJ or Bo Nix, but they made the right pick in Neighbors, and it still could end up costing them. It's kind of funny how that works out.
It's insane. Next, we have the Chargers. We're going to the West Coast. The Los Angeles Chargers. At 5, they grabbed Joe Alt, the tackle. This franchise, or at least the fans, were screaming for Malik Neighbors or Marvin Harrison Jr., any kind of wide receiver, even Rome. But they get Joe Alt, the left tackle. And I also gave this a Metro, your turn first. I'm not going to cut you off, sir.
I gave it an A+. It's just when you get a generational tackle, plays 1,000 snaps. Yeah, he gave up some sacks. He had some penalties, but it was his rookie year. He was kind of going through the motions at times. But I think you got a guy who's going to be your long-term answer at tackle. Pair him up with Rashawn Slater. It's really hard to complain about the pick when you can find that guy. And it sounds like a lot of Chargers fans have also kind of come around to the pick as well.
Yes, sir. Joe Alt's awesome, man. He's so much fun. And it was the right pick at 5. Even if it was Malik Neighbors, I still think it was the right pick at 5 for Herbert. 4, we have the Arizona Cardinals.
What was your grade? What grade you give?
Oh, sorry. I was giving it an A+. I was pissed.
Okay.
I was fist bumping. My bad.
Okay.
I was fired when he said A+. I'm like, damn right it was. Next, we have the Cardinals at 4 overall, and they get Marvin Harrison Jr. You want to talk about hype on a prospect? This was one of the most hype prospects in our lifetime, Metro. Like, you couldn't say anything wrong about this guy, especially in the draft community, or you were just going to get slandered. At the end of the day, my grade here is a B-. Now, I'm probably going to get in big trouble for that, but you just saw a rookie season that was good. It was good, and he took the strides, but I want to see more out of Marvin Harrison Jr., and we hold these guys to a really high standard, and you just see what Malik Neighbors did, and that's what everybody expected out of Marvin Harrison Jr., which is unfair to him, but it's just the truth. I think Marvin will get there. I think Malik Neighbors will be the best receiver over time. I've been that way since day one. But Marvin Harrison Jr. will be an A pick at one point. We just need to see the next steps come into fruition. What grade did you give here, Metro? Because this could be very different from mine.
Yeah, I gave it a B. B. I thought coming into the season that he was the wide receiver 1 of the class. He didn't perform like it. I felt like he was, I mean, you can make the argument, the 4th best receiver in this class, behind Neighbors, Thomas, and Ladd McConkey. And if you include Brock Bowers in the mix, then 5th. But I still think he has extremely high upside. And I think when it's all said and done, even if he's maybe not as good as Neighbors or Thomas, which he might end up being that good, but even if he's not, I think he'll end up still being worthy of that 4th overall pick. It could be a situation where, I mean, Neighbors and just Thomas are just that good. So, I give it a B. I also think some of it was also diminished because I didn't feel like he had great chemistry with Kyler. And there were times where Marvin Harrison was just wide open, and it just felt like Kyler was either missing him or just not on point with him, didn't quite know how to read his routes and so on and so forth. So if those two can kind of get going, get a connection, and if Arizona could use Marvin Harrison Jr. like a number one, kind of like how the Giants used Neighbors and the Jaguars used Thomas, then I think Marvin Harrison Jr. will be worthy of that pick.
Yes, sir. Next, we have the Patriots at number 3 overall, and they get their guy in Drake May. Drake May, Metro, what was your grade on this quarterback?
I thought he was the second best quarterback coming out of the class. I had him above Jaden Daniels, and I thought he had a fine rookie season. I gave him an A. I thought there was a lot of ups and downs, but I think a lot of that wasn't his fault because of just how poor this roster was around him. With that said, I thought he made the most of it. I thought he had a fine rookie season with a lot of mistakes, but good mistakes. Mistakes that you want him to get out of the way now because it kind of feels like they put together a really talented team around him this year. And so all of those mistakes he made in his rookie year, he can learn from them in his second year and just kind of take over, like fully take over the reins of the starting job. And he doesn't have to look over his shoulder no more. And this is just a really good spot for him. So, 15 touchdowns, 10 picks, 2,200 yards, and limited snaps. So, yeah, I give it an A.
Yeah, man, you harping on how much better this team will be this year will be huge for his development. I gave it a B+ just because, like you said, we saw some things he struggled with, but man, I mean, anybody would struggle on this team last year, so I get it. B+ is my grade, probably could have been an A-. Really good stuff from Drake May, but not as good as the next quarterback on this list at number 2. Number 2, the Commanders select Jaden Daniels, the LSU Heisman. He was a Heisman winner, right? Am I tripping?
Yes.
Yeah. So. Jaden Daniels, Heisman winner. Man, A++ from me. I think that's pretty unanimous. Exceptional Rookie of the Year season. And the biggest thing about Jaden, man, we know this. You've heard it. Here's a guy so poised. I mean, so calm in the pocket. And maybe his secret sauce, Metro, like you mentioned, I believe in our last episode with the Seahawks. Go check that out. We'll drop that in the corner right here. A full Seahawks season preview. If you want to see that, go check it out in the corner. The future of using VR for these quarterbacks like Jaden Daniels did might be the wave because he did it and he was exceptional as a rookie. If someone like Milroe does it and breaks out earlier than we expect, that will be the new meta for the league. But enough about my grade. Metro, what did you think about Jaden Daniels? Did you think he was like a C or a D or a D+?
Yeah, I gave him an F, actually. Totally terrible pick at number 2. No,
Bum.
A+. I mean, he had 3,500 rush or passing yards, just a smidge under 900 rushing yards, 31 total touchdowns, only 9 picks. Like, this dude, this was a Commanders team that, I mean, the year prior, they were the second overall pick. And in his rookie year, he takes them into the NFC Championship game. And I think, frankly, the roster was not good enough to make it to that far. But just how dominant and how good of a season Jaden Daniels had, he kind of carried them into that spot. So, yeah, I mean, just from day one, he always looked poised, comfortable, ready for any moment. I mean, again, this dude, just watch the Detroit game. Like, yes, Detroit was banged up as hell. And, I mean, we all know how, that team was a completely different roster, but just Daniels was on fire. He made every single throw, no matter whether there was pressure on him, whether coverage was tight, it did not matter. Like, Daniels was just unstoppable that day. And to get that type of performance from a rookie quarterback in his first ever postseason run was great. So I think Washington can feel really confident that they have a guy for the future who could potentially win some MVPs and potentially win some championships too.
He's pretty good. Let's go to pick number. He torched the Lions. Let's go to number 1. The Bears get a pick from the Panthers, an exceptional trade by King Poles. They get pick number 1 from the Bryce Young trade, and they go with Caleb Williams. Now, Metro, I already gave my grade for Jaden, so you start with Caleb Williams. What were your thoughts on the rookie year for the first overall quarterback?
Yeah, very slow start. It took him a while to kind of really get going, but it felt like once he kind of got rolling, the team around him wasn't ready to start rolling. Like, once he got rolling was when they fired their coach, and then the defense became so bad that they just kind of were just going into a free fall. And it kind of sucked because everyone was making fun of Caleb when Caleb was actually playing pretty darn well. Like, there was a stretch from the Minnesota game all the way to the Detroit game, where he wasn't turning the ball over. He was throwing the ball pretty well around the field and was making some plays, but the team around him was just really struggling. So in the offseason, you get Ben Johnson to help the young guy out. You put a nice little squad around him. I mean, I gave it a B. I thought in year one he showed flashes. At times, it did look like the moment was too big for him, and he was trying to do things that he probably can't do at the NFL level. But I feel pretty confident that moving forward, he's going to be the guy worthy of the number one pick. 3,500 passing yards, 20 touchdowns, 6 picks, just a smidge under 500 rushing yards. So statistically speaking, a solid year. I feel like year 2 and year 3, this is going to be somebody who is completely worthy of the number one pick.
Heck yeah, man. I also gave this a B just because, like you said, when he started turning up, this team was not there to support him, but has support showed up, and it has come in plentiful package. Ben Johnson, new head coach at Detroit. He will be exceptional along with their, 18 weapons at this point. It's going to be the whole roster, man. This wide receiver room and tight end room is stacked. And now the O-line, also pretty solid. This team's going to be really, really good. Probably a top 5 offense, if not top 10. I'm looking forward to it, man. It's going to be a good time. And there's 2 players before we get out of here that I really want to mention that were great values. And there's probably some others. I can't mention all of them. There's I think there's 250 picks in the draft, right? So, but 2 I wanted to mention. Cooper DeJean fell to the second, as we saw in the Super Bowl, a really great corner for the Philadelphia Eagles. And then also Bucky Irving in the 4th round had a great rookie year for the Tampa Bay Bucs. Is there anyone you wanted to call out, Metro, from last year that fell later in the draft?
Yeah, just a lot of players in round 2 were really good. And then in round 3, there were some really good players, too, that made big-time plays. Cooper Beebe went to Dallas, took the starting job. Kalen Bullock, Morris, they have fouled for Dallas as well. Just a lot of good players that made a lot of plays. But that round 2, I mean, man, there are some players here that were worthy of a round 1 pick. I mean,
yeah, man.
Cooper DeJean, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Kamari Lassiter, Max Melton, Jerzon Newton, Ladd McConkey, Fisk, Tavondre, Zach Frazier.
Sanders still. He was
Sanders still. Renardo Green. Just so many really good players in the second round that, I mean, this was a very deep class. And it's funny, if you take some of these guys in round 2 and you put them in the 2025 class, they probably would have been first-round picks. So keep that in mind.
Cook, man, Cook. Did you say Zach Frazier? I just wanted to call him out because he
Zach
had
Frazier.
Exceptional center for Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yep.
Guys, that is all we got today. If you enjoyed the video, it helps out a bunch if you drop a like. It helps the algorithm as well. Thank you very much. If you love NFL content, we're going to be here all summer long, every Monday and Thursday, giving you all the goods. When the season gets low and y'all are like, no one's here to talk to me, we got you. Metro and I are here for you. Go subscribe down below for more NFL content just like this. And guys, check out our Seahawks video up in the corner. We also have draft grades for Metro and I. Whatever you want to see, we got a whole catalog. Go check it out in our description. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate you more than you know. Have the best day. Love y'all. Metro, get us out of here.
Thank you guys for watching. Peace.